Donald Trump is panicking as Republicans across Congress are now turning on him over the Jeffrey Epstein files. What started as a small rebellion has exploded into a full-blown GOP revolt, with multiple Republicans breaking ranks to demand the release of the files, no matter what Trump says. Trump is finally losing control of his own party, and his reaction today says it all. So stick around to see how Republicans just blindsided Trump in Congress, and as always, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more. So Congress is fully reopened today, and just as they promised, the Democrats came in first thing, ready to fight for the Epstein files. And that fight was led by none other than the newest Democrat, Alita Grijalva. Mike Johnson was terrified of swearing her into Congress, and after finally allowing it, she immediately turned around and became the final vote needed to advance the Epstein files bill.
And that you will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office on which you are about to enter, so help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, you're now a member of the 119th Congress.
We need to stand up for our public schools, children, and educators. We need to respect tribal sovereignty in our environment. We need to stand up for LGBTQ+ rights, because that's what the American people expect us to do. Fight for them. That is why I will sign the discharge petition right now to release the Epstein files.
Now, the bill needed 218 votes before it was allowed to be officially voted on in Congress, and now that Representative Grijalva has signed on, Congress will have to vote on the bill to release the files sometime in the next month. And while we still don't know what we might find, the Democrats let off a clear warning sign to anyone trying to protect the files, or by extension, Donald Trump. Knowing that the bill would get its final signature today, Democrats on the Oversight Committee released a bombshell set of emails from the Jeffrey Epstein estate that revealed Donald Trump likely knew about Jeffrey Epstein's crimes for years. In one email between Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, Epstein jokes about how Trump never ratted out all the times that he saw one of Epstein's underage victims at the house. I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Blank victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once mentioned police chief, etc. The victim's name has been redacted, but Epstein is literally saying that Trump knew a potentially underage girl was spending time with Epstein who had no children, and Trump never said a word. And in another heavily redacted email, Epstein tells biographer Michael Wolff that Trump knew about Ghislaine Maxwell recruiting underage victims at Mar-a-Lago, and Trump never went public with it, saying, "Trump said that he asked me to resign. Of course he knew about the girls, as he asked Ghislaine to stop." These emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself suggest that Donald Trump knew for years about Epstein's crimes and did nothing. And worse, he may have knowingly spent time with Epstein and his victims. This is a much bigger disaster for Donald Trump than any photo or letter we have seen so far, and is the closest we have gotten to actually implicating him in Jeffrey's crimes. And I don't know if it was the government shutdown, Trump's major unpopularity, or these bombshell new emails from this morning, but Republicans left and right are now ready to help the Democrats release the files, whether Trump likes it or not. One of these Republicans is Warren Davidson, who just came out today and said that he has decided to support the bill once it gets voted on.
Look, I think the Oversight Committee, I'm going to vote for it if it comes up, because
you'll vote for the bill.
Yeah, because look, I think the Oversight Committee has pushed out a lot of disclosures. The administration's done a lot. If you look in the UK, they've tried to do something towards Prince Andrew. But one of the things that went away during the shutdown is Pam Bondi was supposed to come to the House and answer these questions. And look, I'm not on the Judiciary Committee, but I did want Pam Bondi to come and do some explaining.
Several Republicans, like Davidson, are now promising to release the files next. And just like Representative Davidson pointed out, many of them are now saying that the erratic and incredibly suspicious behavior of the Trump administration is what finally pushed them over the edge. For Davidson, it was Pam Bondi refusing to give in to Congress. For Representative Don Bacon, it was Donald Trump's obvious lies about the client list not existing.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of folks out there, a lot of folks, and there are people who voted for Donald Trump who want to see everything, who just aren't, if there is nothing there and there is nothing bad, as you know, people have claimed, they just want to see it all. I wonder, though, given the emails that you saw today, and the birthday book and the images of Donald Trump with Epstein, do you have any discomfort about his relationship with him or what he may have known?
Well, I think he even himself admits that he had a relationship with Epstein and then realized he was a bad character and then evicted him out of Mar-a-Lago. What else there is, I'm not sure. I am for transparency. I do think this was PR disaster for the White House. When you tell everybody you're going to release everything, that you have the names of all the clients, and then you come back and say, oh, there was none. This was a self-inflicted wound by the White House and how they handled this, and I think they've dug themselves a hole. But in the end, I'm for transparency. Everything should be out other than the victims' names for that. We're getting results already without the discharge petition is what I would like to really convey here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the subpoena to the estate is what got these emails today.
Before the shutdown, Representative Bacon opposed releasing the files, but now he's pledging his full support. And even more surprising than his reversal is that he's pointing out that Republicans who signed the petition faced too much backlash, suggesting that there might be others who stayed silent out of fear, but could still vote when the time comes.
Congressman Bacon, thank you so much. And just to be clear, I want to make sure I heard you correctly. You will be voting yes on releasing the Epstein files if it makes it to the floor, and you believe it will.
If it goes on the floor, I get a lot of pushback. Why don't you put your name in the discharge petition? And I'm just going to be subtle in my response. Just look at all the few Republicans that are on it and who they are. It's going to come on the floor. I will vote yes.
Got it.
With the flipping of votes like Davidson and Bacon, the bill to release the files is an almost guaranteed win in the House, and also puts major pressure on the Senate. And that pressure is especially high for Republicans who are already on the fence about Trump, such as Collins or Murkowski. But beyond all this talk in the House, the real tell that this situation is getting dangerous for Donald Trump is the fact that he has been freaking out about it all day. And I don't mean just ranting on Truth Social, although he has been doing that as well. Instead, Trump is now trying to bully members of Congress into opposing the bill. In a Bombshell report by Axios today, the Trump administration has apparently been reaching out nonstop to convince Nancy Mace and Lauren Boebert to stop supporting the bill. They even claim that Mace and the Trump administration have been playing phone tag for 24 hours with Donald Trump's team, trying everything to get the loudest Republican supporters of the bill to give up. But what's even more shocking, besides harassing Republicans who are supporting this bill, is the fact that Trump called an emergency meeting with the leadership from the FBI and Department of Justice. And even though they won't tell us what they discussed, we can all pretty much guess that they're all panicking behind the scenes.
Breaking news, CNN has learned there will be a meeting today inside the White House as aides try to manage a potential House vote on the release of the Epstein files. This comes, of course, just hours after Democrats on the Oversight Committee released emails from Jeffrey Epstein himself mentioning Donald Trump by name multiple times. I want to get straight to CNN's Caitlin Polance. Caitlin, what are you learning?
Well, the House is releasing these files, but it's not everything that the federal government has. Dana, there's additional files still held by the Justice Department that some Republicans on Capitol Hill are in support of releasing. And so that is causing a political response inside the White House right now, where there is a meeting planned, or was a meeting planned today, about the House effort to try and force a vote to get the Justice Department, the Trump administration, to release the rest of the FBI files, the Justice Department files, everything from years of the investigation into Jeffrey Epstein and others, things that have not seen the light of day yet. What one source tells me, we have multiple sources confirming that this meeting is happening, but what one source tells me is that this meeting was planning to include some key figures from the Justice Department, the FBI Director Kash Patel, the Attorney General Pam Bondi, the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, and then one of those Republicans in support of transparency, Republican Representative Lauren Boebert of Colorado. So what might happen at this meeting if Boebert could be swayed in a different direction on wanting transparency here? That is all something that is going to be at issue, and that the White House is clearly concerned about, having discussions about it. On top of that, Dana, another thing to remember here is that the Justice Department has tried many different ways to distract from releasing the full Justice Department files. They tried to get grand jury records out there. Blanche talked to Ghislaine Maxwell, a co-conspirator in Florida. When Ghislaine spoke to Todd Blanche, she told him that Trump himself never acted inappropriately, and she never saw anything untoward in any way toward underage girls. Dana?
Yeah. But she also said he was never at the House, and in the email, Epstein said he was at the House. So this is going to be a very interesting meeting. The fact that Lauren Boebert is going to be there is especially Fascinating. Thank you, Caitlin, for that.
Right as Congress secures the final signature to advance the Epstein files release, Donald Trump is having a last-minute meeting with the two departments who currently possess all of the Epstein files. And let's not forget that both the FBI and Department of Justice have been accused of redacting and even straight up destroying information, sometimes by their own employees. The walls are closing in on Donald Trump, and the more we learn about the Epstein files, the worse and worse the fallout will be for him. And while we don't know what's going on in the White House behind the scenes tonight, I say we better get these files released before Trump does something drastic to save himself from prison. The votes are here, Congress is open, and more Republicans are turning on Donald Trump. It's time to release the files and hold everyone, including probably the president himself, accountable. And if you agree, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more.